Okay. So, there's the video where I'm talking about anger, and I mention discernment a lot, and I want to talk about it, and I want to clarify that because I just feel that it's very important. It's very important to know what I mean by that. With the great power comes great responsibility. And I want to make sure I'm not giving permission to anybody to do shit around, okay? Or hurt people or lash out in anger. None of that. So, it would be better to work with you as individuals regarding discernment. It's something you can practice. It's something... So like I cannot describe to you my inner voice and sensations in my body. You cannot explain to me yours, right? You just know, you just feel it. You feel when something feels right and when it doesn't. You can tell, and I'm sure you can, just start noticing, okay? Just put awareness in your actions. Start noticing what your body is telling you in the moment. You can tell. Everybody can. Just allow yourself to do that. And once you do that, once you give yourself permission, your body will be like, okay, you asked for it, here it is. It's gonna be happy that finally you're cooperating with it. So, discernment is a very tricky thing, and it's very tricky at the beginning because you're going to be confused as fuck about what's going on. Why does this feel like that? Why does it not feel like that? And the old version of you will, it's a habit, it's a pattern, so it will try to talk through whatever is happening because it will try to bring you back to comfort zone, to safety, to what feels familiar, okay? When I'm talking about the grief, it is not as simple as I missed somebody, I'm sad. Oh, I want to feel loved, I'm sad, okay? There are so many, unconditional love doesn't have boundaries. So the sadness and the pain you feel may be just accumulation of all the pain that was ever done to you, okay? Pay attention to the memories that pop up when you sit with the emotion. Just notice things, there is no pressure. Don't try to figure things out. Don't try to, and you will try, okay? So my don't try is like, don't put pressure on yourself, be kind to yourself, but you will try. It's just what we do. And especially at first, when you're trying to find your flow. Observe. Those things are not random. Okay, coincidences don't exist. And if you didn't figure that out by now, then I'm like, where were you? Coincidences don't exist. And I even talk about that in my videos. And I would like to make the present version of that here. This might be triggering for some, I'm just saying, especially the control-obsessed people. All the love to you, because I am one of those too. There are people that control consciously, there are people that control unconsciously, and you don't even know what actions of yours are related to controlling the outer environment. You'll figure it out eventually, one thing at a time, And we are one consciousness. That's how we are one, okay? Butterfly wings effect. Heard of that before? A ripple effect. That's why what you do impacts the other person. And there is no fucking way you can prevent that. So we are one. Now, damn, did I have to go to this topic? But okay. Past, present, future don't exist. They do, but they don't. It's all in here. Past memories, future. Assumptions, really. You think it, you feel it, you embody it, okay? It is the past memory that makes you cry. It's not the present around you. So time is relative. That's the whole point of it. And that's very powerful because that means you can go back in the memory just by thinking about it and working, being aligned with your body, with your heart, with the memory, be present. You can readjust that memory. Okay, that's what I've done. So I'm telling you, it works. It's possible. It works. It's legit. And you release the emotion from your body. Whatever emotion was connected to the memory, you release it. So you can say that your body is being extremely present and it might be in control of your actions right now without you realizing that. Okay? Everything is given. Everything is given. Your life path is given. Now bear with me, please. And I am saying this especially to those who might have hurt somebody in the past and you cannot find a way to forgive yourself. Okay? It was meant to happen. And that is exactly because of that ripple effect. I pondered a lot about this thing with having a free will and destiny. They are existing at the same time. Okay. The consciousness, it's like when I meditate, okay, when I'm thinking deep thoughts, answers come to me, and I had some really crazy type of experiences. And I know that the knowledge comes from something bigger than me because I know that there is no source of that information. I never read it anywhere. I never talked to anybody about this. It's not a memory that is forgotten. That thing comes from within. So the way I see consciousness, it's like a library, and each of us is a separate book, a separate story, okay? So we all have that knowledge. It's just damn energy. So the wind around you, it's the same thing. It just materializes differently, but it knows, okay? It knows. It knows you because it knows your parents, and it knows parents of your parents, and it just knows the behavior of people. It knows, it can tell what's gonna happen. It knows the past, present, and future, okay? So whatever you did in the past, let's say you cheated on someone, okay? it was meant to happen. And there is absolutely nothing in the whole damn world that you can do about that. Period. Okay? There was nothing you could have done different, because if you could have, you would have. And why is that? Your actions impact others, and they impact you inevitably, right? You're most likely suffering right now from that. So what happens? Your job, the only responsibility you have is to yourself. Why did you do that? What unresolved thing do you have in your past that made you do that? It's not been stupid. It's not been reckless. It's not been horny all the time. None of that. Okay? You don't fuck up a big love because of any of those. You don't. It's something you're not aware of. It's something deep. It's a pattern. Okay? And the free will aspect, the way I understand it, and it hasn't changed for a while now, the free will is in each and every single moment you have an option. Am I gonna listen to what my brain is rationally, logically telling me to do? Or what others expect me to do? Or am I going to listen to my heart? Am I going to listen to my soul? That is the free will. You have that in every point in your life, no matter what decision you're making, okay? It's always there. Every action you take, ripple effect, it has fucking consequences. And you might be running from it, you might hide, you can't, okay? When you start living based on your heart and your soul, you will not have regrets, okay? The challenge is to know how to listen to your heart and how to listen to your soul and to do all those discernments. A big thing happened for me yesterday. I realized I was still processing. I'm not going to go in depth because this is my life, this is my personal thing, and there are other people, that are involved. But I was being present with myself, and I was feeling the emotions, and I still couldn't get over it. Or even after I felt it, still the thoughts were coming in. So what I learned yesterday was speak my truth. Allow myself to speak my truth. Now, what that means is intention matters, all right? And that goes when I'm talking about expressing anger, when I'm talking about allow yourself to feel angry, when I'm telling you, tell your truth, speak it, stop being silent. Well, it's a process, first and foremost. So be kind, gentle, and don't push yourself, okay? What I couldn't do a year ago, now I can do. Now I'm challenged a little further, all right? This is not about being perfect. This is not about getting it right. This is about doing it, okay? Intention, just check with yourself. When I say this, what is it gonna do to the person? You may not even know the person, but something in you will feel it. Your body will feel it. I felt a big need inside of me to speak my truth. I felt, at first I thought like, oh, I want a closure. It wasn't like I want a peaceful resolution to whatever is happening right now. It wasn't even that. And I understood it just last night. It was, I needed to tell a certain person in my life, what you did hurt me. And this is why. And what was the most beautiful thing about it is that I realized that by doing that, I actually spoke for all of those parts of me that in the past couldn't. When you depend on someone else, you cannot do that and you shut down. But what happened for me now? Yes, I can do that. I noticed the behavior that I have, over-explaining myself, and I can tell, okay, this is my traumatized part. This is the part that believes that I have to deserve love, that I have to work for affection, that I have to avoid conflict, all that. Then, in that relationship I was in recently, over time, okay, it didn't happen immediately. And even if I did realize something immediately, it's not that easy to change the behavior, okay? It takes repetition and time. But every time I was explaining myself less and less until I was like, there is no point to it anymore. And why there is no point to explaining yourself? Because that person, if they're not ready to hear you, to meet you where you are, whatever you say, they take it, they flip it, and they turn their defense into attack. So by you not explaining yourself, you are protecting yourself, okay? You are protecting yourself. I mean, didn't you explain enough? You know, when you have that like best friend, you just look at them and they know what you're thinking and you don't have to say anything and it flows beautifully. So why do we stay in relationships? It's my dear friend. She's actually going through rough times right now. And I'm like, did I used to explain myself like that before? I'm like, if it was between you and me, it would just say like one sentence and I would get it. So why is it that people we're in a relationship with that should know us the best, because you share yourself fully, right? Or as fully as you can. Why is it that no matter, we could write a fucking book and it wouldn't change nothing? Not only that, but they do turn it against you, against us, and not even consciously, okay? It's like a pattern that they have, a behavior that they have that they don't even know, but like, oh, it worked before on other women, so, you know, and it worked on you too before. So now I'm like, yeah, it did work on me before because I was unaware. I didn't know what I was doing. I was acting from my trauma. I was acting on my learned behavior, not on who I actually am. And last night I spoke my truth. I made sure it was I wasn't over-explaining myself. I triple checked with me. What do I want from this if I send this message? Do I want a soothing compassion back if I say, oh, you hurt me? Or am I ready to face the attack that could come if they are defensive about it? I didn't know what to expect, and I wanted to make sure that I wasn't going to go over the top, over explaining myself and looking for love and compassion. So sometimes notice, because it is true, so my soul was telling me, tell the truth that you feel. And that is the closure. I made sure that I wasn't gonna get either compassion or attack, because I am not ready for it right now to deal with that. I am healing myself. I do not want to carry emotional load of someone else. Okay? And I let the person know. I let them know, I'm going to block your number because I am not feeling safe. I'm just sharing this with you because of do. And that's when I realized that this is being true to yourself. To actually say, hey, this hurt me. It's like if you had the perfect parent, not the perfect human, perfect parent. You fall, you hit your knee, it's bleeding, you start crying, and they would come to you and you would see concern on their face and you would see, empathy. They know it hurts. And they would agree with you, yeah, of course, oh, it must hurt. They show compassion. At the same time, they show you that it hurts, but it's gonna pass. Look, you're okay, you're not in danger. What I'm learning to do now is to do that to myself. That's what I didn't have as a kid. $30 and there is a certain justice that happens. You don't wait for God to be the justice. You are the justice. However, you check your ego, you check your intention, and fucking check 10 times before you share something with somebody. I have that too sometimes. I want to say the thing that I know would hurt someone's ego, not heart, ego. But when I know that what I would say, even if it's my truth, when I know deep in my heart, that would be a dagger in the person's heart, I don't do it. I journal. I talk to my friend about it. I vent, I process whatever injustice I feel. Because who do you want to be? Who do you want to be? And just act like it right now. Imperfect, messy, human. Who do you want to be? That is my guidance. It is not perfect. I'm getting there too. But I'm so proud of myself because I didn't wait for anyone else to come to me to tell me, Daniela, tell me what's in your heart. I took charge and I was like, this is what's on my heart. This is what was our relationship. And then you did this, and this is how it affected me. I'm not needing this, and this from you. I just wanted to be true to myself. I thought we had something special. I thought I could trust this. I want you to know this is what your behavior did to me. And intention is sacred. Because intention is energy. I used to have many times before. I noticed that now too, that there is still this protective voice is trying to protect the other person and think that I did something wrong. Okay? That's a thought. That's just something in me that's just acting up instead of me. And I notice, oh, funny. So I read this sentence, and before I even finish that sentence, there is already a voice thinking, how did I do that? Not how that was done to me. How could I do that? So something in me learned long time ago that me blaming myself first is less painful than pointing out to the behavior of the other person and saying, hey, this is wrong what you did. It hurts. That's because I was surrounded by people who didn't like being held accountable, and boy, so many around me are like that. But okay, people just avoid, dodge. So I learned, don't point to others, don't hold them accountable. Double check with you. You must be at fault if they're acting this way or that way. That's why this was very big for me last night. It was big, it was huge, and I honestly felt peace after I did that. And after that, there was guilt and all those other traumatized things that are coming out of my nervous system, and then I have to calm them down, you know. But I knew I was speaking from my heart. I even prepared the message before I sent it. So I wasn't just reactive. I wasn't just emotional. I wanted to make sure I am not attacking the other person. I wanted to make sure. That's the thing. Sometimes you say one sentence, and that sentence can sound like you're trying to hurt the other person. My intention was, this is how your behavior affected me, and something in me feels that you need to know this. This is my truth. I am sacred. Okay? I am a sacred human being who has the fucking full right to live on this earth and be appreciated just as much as I appreciate and treasure life of others. Especially when I know that I keep others from harm. Least you can do for me, is you're gonna behave the same way, or you cannot be in my life anymore. And I basically made a clear boundary saying I cannot have this type of love in my life any longer. I'm not accepting that. This is how it affected me. Now, do I know what's going to happen in the future if I ever see the person again? I have no idea, all right? That's not about that. That moment was about, I was that little girl who finally came up to her parents and said, what you said What you did hurt me. My heart hurts. And knowing that I finally did that by doing that, I rewired something deep inside of me on a level I don't even understand, okay? But it's big. It's big. It is courageous to do that. It is courageous to do that. Yeah, there was no expectation from that, and I didn't even want it because I'm not ready for it. And I was like, I don't owe anybody explaining where I'm coming from any longer. They don't hold themselves accountable when it comes to their actions. Why am I trying to hold myself accountable for their part of the story? Why am I trying to be responsible for how they feel and what they say and how they might react? It's like trying to be two people at the same time at minimum. Exhaustion. I see myself these days on the videos and I'm like, oh my God, my eyes. I'm like, I don't sleep. So last night I went to bed at 2 a.m. I don't know, I think I fell asleep at 4 a.m. or I woke up at 4 a.m. and then fell asleep again for like 5 more hours. It's insane. And me having compassion for someone else, when I don't get that compassion back, no go. You cannot possibly function when there is not reciprocity. If you're a super kind person, if you are super understanding, well, okay, I'm learning too. Hold on with that understanding, okay? Hold on with the amount of compassion you give out there. Hold on with the amount of energy, and I'm getting better at that every day. You grow each day. Each day you have opportunities, you know? And don't be too harsh on yourself if you don't handle it perfectly the first time. I mean, I'm gonna say you can't. Because even if you try to follow a script, the old programming in your nervous system, it's gonna kick in. We live in bodies and they are programmed in certain way. So be patient, be careful, and be mindful when you're angry. Do not necessarily try to act when you're angry. I know I can talk when I'm angry because I'm thoughtful of what I'm saying, mindful, but the other person may not be, and he wasn't in the previous relationship. So me talking while we were angry, even when I'm mindful and I stop myself and I correct myself immediately, the other person may not be capable of that, not have the capacity. So don't just allow yourself to be angry and then act on it no matter what. Always double check with you. Like when I'm talking to you, making these videos, now I'm already feeling more comfortable doing that. But before, oh my goodness, my first few videos, the storm on the inside, you have no idea. And I speak slowly. Because I'm exhausted, because I'm after a relationship that wasn't healthy. I speak slowly because I try to let my soul talk to you, okay? So I'm not trying to conceptualize things. And I'm checking with my body when there is something I want to say. I am tuning in and I'm checking, is this okay to say out loud? Because one thing or the other can have all kinds of effects on so many other people. So all I'm doing is I'm trusting my soul, because that's unconditional love. And it doesn't mean that like whatever I say is not going to trigger you, or you're not going to get angry, upset, hurt, cry, get anxious, whatever stuff you might feel. It doesn't mean that. I just trust that whatever I say, if it triggers you, it's for a reason, and it's going to help you heal. It will. So when I'm talking, I'm just checking in with my body. Does it feel natural? Does it feel natural? I just know the tension in my body, and there is something. There are these moments that like my throat just closes up. That's like a huge signal for me, do not say that. It doesn't mean it's not true. It doesn't mean it's mean or harsh. It's just not meant to be shared with you right now or on this platform, or maybe I'm just not meant to say it right now, okay? So notice how your body feels. Notice whether you have sensations in your throat as you're speaking. I get a lot of tension in my jaw, and I think it was a lot of that about speaking my truth, which I didn't understand that, okay? I wasn't sure, because I was like, I don't want to reopen the door. I don't want to go back. I don't want to open this and that. But then I understood. I have to say that. And it's not because I want the other person to be there for me or show up for me in any shape or form. Of course, part of me wants to, but that moment was purely, this is what I need you to know. And I imagine in a healthy relationship, this would be fucking beautiful. No fucking big deal. You come to the other person, and I would tell to the man, look, love, this and that bothers me. It doesn't sit well with me. I'm not feeling comfortable or safe when you are like this. Could you change that? Could you look into it? And the person that really loves you is gonna fucking do it like this. Okay? Like, poof. Concern on their face. Immediately, attention, affection. Oh, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, yeah, I know you didn't do that consciously. It's okay. I just wanted to share that with you, Or when you want to be by yourself. I just want to be by myself right now. And the other person might be insecure the moment you say that, right? And some other wounds might rise up. And it's immediately like, oh, did I do something? Did I say something wrong? Why you're leaving? Why you want to be by yourself? Well, you explain yourself to the person, you sit them down, and you are there for them to be like, I don't want you to be freaking out just because I'm going to have a walk by myself, But there are ways around it. Now, I'm not saying you're supposed to be soothing the other person like all the time, okay? There might be those sensitive, vulnerable moments when, healthy relationship builds. And trust. That's when you show up for the other person in those moments. And maybe the other person can heal like that because of you. But don't stop being yourself. I don't know what I'm going to do now. Now, this feels weird because now I'm in this moment in my life where I'm like, well, okay, so there's this old relationship, something still like, my deeply loyal, loving parts are still thinking back sometimes, and then I'm just like, no, come back in the present moment and just be present We know that it's not good for us, and I am having clarity each and every single day, more and more. But it does take time to get in your own rhythm. And I'm just gonna make sure that nothing disrupts that rhythm anymore. And now I know that when I'm not committed is okay with me. So first I have to grow out of the commitment that I have there. And then, yeah, like while that's happening, I'm working on being committed to myself. It's not easy. Every day is heavy in a way. And I just try to be present with myself and just see what feels right for me. What is it that I need to do? Yeah, it's a lot to manage at the same time. And part of me is restless. Oh God, if I was super rich, I would just leave this place and forget and go and live my life and just do funny things. But that, of course, would just be a distraction. That would be coping. That would be just, what would I heal that way? I wouldn't be talking to you. And who knows what would be lost that way. I can still fall on this one, not on that one. But I'm doing what I'm doing, and I know I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna get back in the flow, and I am getting back in the flow. I am in the flow. It just doesn't feel comfortable yet. Be discerning. Be discerning. That's extremely important. Check your intentions. Check your intentions. And it is true that when we hurt somebody, when I do and I say something, I'm like, I know it's gonna get him upset. But I also know it's just like some stupid thing. It's like some ego. It's not, it's so far away from his heart, it couldn't be further away. And yeah, there's just some yeah, I have a mother's heart. I have a heart of a protector. And it kicks in real strong, and it's kicking in real strong for others than me, okay, which would be okay if I was in a healthy situationship, and if I had somebody who is looking out for me like that, then I don't care how much I give because I get much more back. But that protective part of me, I honor it now. I really do. Because I love somebody truly and deeply, and I may not know whether love from the other person was real or if it was some coping mechanism of theirs, or if I am just like a drug to them, if my love is like that, I know none of that. But, I just tell myself, well, what happened happened. What I felt was real, for me anyway. I know that I love and I don't want to hurt anybody. And there are things that appear harsh or cruel to me. So I'm like, fuck. I never had to do that before now, And it's like, yeah, to me it does appear cruel because I am not a cruel person. And other people, maybe they were cruel to me, and consciously or not, I don't see them losing sleep over that. You know? So putting blame on people, it's not right, because what are you doing? You're attacking them. You're not taking them as who they are with their experiences. I mean, okay, let's say they're lying to you. Well, maybe they're lying to themselves and they have no idea, they have no clue. Because they just don't. Because the one way of being was the one way that they know, and nobody ever told them otherwise. And you might be the first one. Voila. Does it feel good? No, it doesn't feel good. Does it feel right? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. And I'm telling you, there was one moment a few weeks back when I had a choice to be silent and not speak up, because I knew where that was going to go. And I was just like, okay, well, don't say anything, Daniela. Don't say anything. You know where that's going to go. It's going to become defensive, this and that. But boy, of course he insisted, because suddenly I wasn't saying anything. Doesn't sit right, because something in him knows that something's not right. And I started to feel the pressure rising up in here, in my chest. Physical tension. It's almost like when you have a balloon that's like growing bigger, 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 and suddenly it would come and just like pierce it, and the pressure just... The pressure was building up. Longer I stayed quiet, and then I pictured, how is the day gonna go if I don't say anything? Well, there's going to be a huge distance between us, a disconnection. And I couldn't even name it, but he named it, which that was really good. He said, like, I'm feeling this disconnect. And I was like, well, that's what you get when you don't want to hear the truth that I have to share. And what happened was that I didn't have any expectation of the outcome, but I made the choice, okay, I'm gonna tell him, because that pressure in my chest, it's unbearable. It's like physically unbearable. And then things turned out good. Of course, he got upset because whatever, but the whole thing was nice. We were connected again. Everything was fine. So I have no idea what effect that experience had on him, because we didn't talk about it. But my thing that I learned from that was that I'd rather die than be silent. And my body's speaking louder than anything else. And that's when I was like, it doesn't matter whether the other person is gonna get upset with me, whether they're gonna hate me, whether I'm gonna see them again. Anything is gonna hurt less than not being true to myself. Not speaking my truth. And again, discernment, okay? A truth that's true, yet you can present it in a harmless way. Now, when you're talking with somebody super, and they have really fragile ego, it doesn't matter what way you put it, they're always going to find a way to turn it against you. That's inevitable. But even despite that, if you can actually still speak your truth, That's holy. That's sacred. Because fuck, right now you may not know what your truth is worth. You may not know what your truth is gonna do in the future. You do not know who you're gonna inspire, which friend of yours is gonna feel better and get the last extra push to do something courageous, to do something brave, to do something unconventional that they want to, that's gonna turn their life towards better in the long run. Okay, in the long run, you do not know what truth of yours is gonna hit and how. And that's the challenge. The challenge is to trust that, yeah, my soul knows. And when you hear that calling, when you know, okay, now I have to speak up. I have to. And then whatever happens, happens. That's the day you win. That's the day you fucking win. One truth after the other, and then another one, and another one, and another one, until you show yourself that, look, yeah, I speak the truth, people do get upset, but I'm still alive. I can still have fun. Maybe not with the people that I imagine it with, but I can still do that. Yeah. Even the peace I was talking about before, the peace that I feel now when I do something aligned with my soul, is the peace that's, it's not calm, it's peace. It doesn't last for very long, but I feel it. Every cell in my body feels it. It's that type of peace you're gonna get. It's like the first moments in my life when I decided to do really crazy stuff, like come to Canada when I was 20. And I actually managed to get the visa. I was jumping with joy. I was crying happy tears. I remember that moment like it was yesterday. And now I look back and I realize I was following my soul already then. I had no clue. I was put together, I was composed, something in me was like, this is what you're gonna do. And I wasn't concerned, I wasn't worried, is it gonna work out or not? I was just doing worry-free, everything I could to get it ready and done. And I was like, well, if it doesn't work out, then I'll figure something else out, right? And it worked out. And the feeling when you do that, oh my God, the joy is unbelievable. And then your soul is going to challenge you. And later on, 10 years later, yeah, 10 years later, I was challenged to, it was almost like my discernment was getting sharper. So now it wasn't about having this calm, yeah, I'm doing the right thing feeling. It's not about doing the things that just bring you joy or just are feeling right, like in your body that you have no doubt. No. Then I started to making decisions that didn't make any sense, that I would get a notch in my meditation, that I would feel a lot of fear doing it, and I wouldn't feel calm, peace, nor joy. But then I think fear is the big indicator. If you're really afraid to do something, then do it. That's what I told myself, okay. And when I was hesitating, because yeah, I was in Vancouver, then I went back home to Europe, and then I came back to Vancouver, which was so like not prepared. I was like, yeah, in 2 days I fly. It was so out of nowhere, honestly. I just woke up one morning. I was like, well, why not go back? I really love that city. And I had those. I didn't act impulsively like that, although it sounds like that. Like I had the decision made that morning, but it's been months that I observed, okay, I actually missed the city. This is not a anxiety calling in. This is not, I'm looking for something familiar or an escape. I'm going back. Because when I was here, I didn't know that I really loved the city, that I left. And then I really knew that I missed the city when I just checked Google Maps, the waterfront, and I felt it in my heart. I was like, I love it, I miss it, I want to go back. So yeah, then I came back, not having a job or anything secure, of course, but everything that happened afterwards confirmed to me that that's exactly what was meant to happen. And I don't even know, I cannot describe that level of discernment that happened, because I wasn't 100% sure that I was meant to do it. But there is a very, very, very specific knowing you have when something feels right to do. I don't know. Very specific knowing. I have a visual of that, but it's not going to help you because it's my visual. When you know, you just know. When you know, you just know. So at first, then I read The Alchemist, and it took me like 2 years to read the book, because I would read a few pages and then meditate on that, and then I live my life, and anything I read in the moment synchronized with what was currently going on in my life. So it always helped me. But I read the book, and they're talking about the beginner's luck. Once you get on your journey, universe helps you in the most beautiful ways. But it doesn't continue. More you keep going, more you're aligned with your soul, more tested you get. Not tested, I don't like that word tested, challenged. More challenged you get, because there are deeper levels of you that you're healing. And you get challenged on a level, I'm telling you, there was no peace in me. There was just this. The only thing I had was like a nanosecond something that rushed through my body that morning. And it took me 30 minutes to buy a plane ticket, which 30 minutes minimum to actually click buy. And I was just restlessly walking in the kitchen. What am I doing? What am I doing? Fear pulsing through my body. But that's when I knew I am afraid to do this because it doesn't make sense. There was a visceral fear of I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't have a plan. It wasn't this body when it just tenses up and almost stops you in tracks and tells you, no, don't do that. It felt different from my intuition, and that's when I knew. I was like, my intuition would just, it would feel, different. Fear is kind of like flowing through all of your body. It's not necessarily, when my intuition says no, it's like my body braces, as if you, I don't know, imagine somebody rushing and running towards you, and you brace yourself to like not fall down. Something like that. Around the abdomen area, my body tenses up. It's that's my intuition, but hey, that's a language you have to learn and discover. It's something that you practice. And I have something in voice memos as well about that, how to practice that. And yeah, as I said, like I was going through some stuff, and your intuition is gonna bring you to your healing, okay, and self-love, and your purpose, and whatever else is out there for you. Ultimate happiness, let's say, which should be your purpose, I think. That's where your soul is leading you. The path is treacherous, it's full of pain, but not for long. I mean, not forever, that's for sure. Yeah, it feels different. It feels different, and it doesn't feel as bad as it used to when I was just crying all the time. But boy, did I have to cry all those tears that my little self didn't, you know? Yeah. Take care. I'm getting kind of tired. Lazy to talk. But yeah, be careful what you put out there, because ripple effect is real. Okay? And who do you want to be? What do you want to do in the world? Even the way you look at your neighbor or you talk to them. Doesn't mean you always have to be holy or anything like that, but don't do things intentionally to hurt somebody, okay? That's gonna ripple in the wrong direction, and this world needs healing. It needs love. Cheers. Enjoy your weekend. Yeah. I don't know. I might post some of those voice messages even when it's not chronological, although that might confuse some of you, but then maybe you don't really care how you're listening to it. But I'm gonna make sure it's understandable, that you will know where you are in the timeline. All right. I hope this helps. Love you.